So, we're going to talk about Omegaverse now. Yippee. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I've mentioned it a bunch of times, and then y'all are like, what does that mean? And then it's like, man, I don't want to get into this today, but this is the day. So, we're talking about Omegaverse because I'm sick of y'all asking what that means. Omegaverse is also known as A/B/O. You can call it ABO, but you have to put the slashes because otherwise it is a derogatory term toward Aboriginal people in Australia. So you have to say ABO, and if you spell it out, it has to be A/B/O because then it is a derogatory term. We got to get that going first, okay? So this is Omegaverse. It is a subgenre of speculative erotic fiction that features a dominance hierarchy among humans. There are a lot of other extra variants outside of Alpha, Beta, Omega, but those are like the main three. Alphas are the dominant leaders of the pack, typically male, and are strong and aggressive. Betas can mate with alphas, but it can be painful due to an anatomical quirk. And omegas are usually submissive and gentle and can become pregnant regardless of sex or gender. So if you're wondering, HexJuice, does that mean that the boy omegas can get pregnant? The answer is yes. Okay, all right. Okay, so secondary gender refers to the main role or second gender of the person aside from their biological gender of male or female, which is alpha, beta, or omega. You can be alpha, beta, or omega regardless of being male or female, sex trait wise. And alpha are the dominants, the betas are essentially neutral, and the omegas are the submissives. There is a concept called imprinting in which you understand what imprinting is in the animal kingdom. I don't feel like explaining it. In some parts of Omegaverse fan fiction, there is a concept of a mark, one for their secondary gender and multiple others which will match them to their soulmate. There's also a concept in which an alpha will mark their beta or omega, which will make them bonded to them biologically and also emotionally. And there can be a lot of angsty, sort of sad shit that happens if you get marked by someone who does not value you, okay? Because then you have all of this biological feelings, all these hormones, and then they don't love you back, and then you have to experience rejection. So there's obviously mating. There's a lot of stuff about scents and scent glands, scenting, you know, all very wolfy, okay? I'm gonna die. But yeah, marking is making visible, sometimes permanent impression or stain on, which also refers to when an alpha or beta bites or leaves other marks on an omega, sometimes claiming them as their mate if bitten on the scent gland. So it would be, you know, it's a big deal to get marked by your alpha, okay? There's also, I was joking about this earlier, which was the concept of nesting. It's a makeshift bed made entirely of pillows and blankets or other soft fabric materials, usually located in a bedroom or closet or other personal or intimate location, typically made for and by an omega. It is usually a ritual regarding pups. We understand a lot of this is about reproduction. We understand what animals do when they have heat, okay? When they're in heat. Omegas are specifically the only type that will go into heat, in which they will typically perform a lot of slick. When they are ready to reproduce, they will produce a natural lubricant that will have a scent for the other wolf people to aid in mating and also childbirth. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's like when I say there's like a lot of slick, I'm saying like I need y'all to know that it's giving very like literal snail trail. Do we understand? Like literally falling on the floor. It's a lot. We understand? So when an omega is in heat and is slicking, it is very noticeable to the others in this alternate universe. It's not cum It's not cum. It's different because they don't impregnate. They get pregnant. Anyway, there is also a concept of there being heat suppressants, which is something that a lot of times is added into this fan fiction for the purpose of talking about, like, sort of like reproductive and body autonomy issues. In some fan fictions, it'll be like, you should take heat suppressant as an omega so that everyone doesn't have to be bothered by you slicking everywhere, basically. Like, we're all bothered by your heat. We can smell that you're in heat. We see your slick. It's bothersome. You can force some of us into rutting because there's also rut. And, like, you should take heat suppressants so that when you go to your job, people can work with you and you don't have to take time off to be in heat. Yeah. This is so insane to actually explain to people. And so, the sort of flip side of heat for omegas and sometimes betas is the concept of rut, which is for alphas and occasionally also betas, which is the period of sexual activities in which they're most interested in reproducing. In a lot of fan fictions, an omega's heat, because of the pheromones, can activate the rut of an alpha. I don't want to talk about nodding. I just don't want to. So you can figure that out on your own. I don't feel like it. I don't think I'm that person. I don't think I'm the girl for that. Yeah, there's also rut suppressants in some AUs. And then, you know, we all know what pregnancy and marriage is. But yeah, that's what ABO is. Basically, ABO is an alternate universe in which people have a lot of wolf-like characteristics. Yeah, there's a quiz you can take also if you want to find out which one you would be. It's kind of weird and has a lot of weird ass questions on it, so don't ask me. Omegaverse quiz. If you'd like to find out which one you are, here it is. Again, I'm going to say that it's got a bunch of weird ass questions on it, but this is the most trusted source of finding out what you would be if you were in Omegaverse. So, yeah, how do people make up with this stuff? I mean, it's for fan fiction mostly. How do you stumble upon Omegaverse? TikTok. TikTok always sends it to me instantly. The second it starts picking back up again, I get the Omegaverse TikToks. I'm a soft alpha. Dude, Rainy's was crazy, actually. And Sky, too, yeah. Rainy's was crazy as fuck. I was genuinely shocked by Rainy's. The femboys. The femboys, yeah. My femboys got the same ones. They both got dominant alpha. Yeah. Both of my femboy besties got dominant alpha, which is crazy. Insane. I got submissive omega, which kind of hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of hurt my feelings, and I didn't like it, and I've been upset about it since. But it is what it is. That's Omegaverse. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Everyone got some type of alpha except Hex. I think Cypher got beta. Throwing out Cypher like that? Listen, I don't need this. I don't want to be the only one who's an Omega! I'm sorry. Whatever. I don't want to be the only one. But yeah, that's why I call my office my Omega Nest now, because it's comfy. Anyway, that's Omegaverse. You're welcome for the cursed knowledge. It's so fun. It's so great and cool. Very epic style sauce. But yeah, that's Omegaverse. I'm sure we'll have a video of this on the second channel, so we can refer to that if we ever have any questions in the future.